We're just wrought with technical difficulties. We probably lost all of our viewers. Yeah, we've got no viewers now because we accidentally ended the show.
I fucked it up. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It happens. Let's at least wrap it up and talk about
Let me see.
how
I
hard it
don't
really
even.
is
I don't
to sell a
even. I
snake.
don't even see. I don't even see the damn thing now. Ah, fuck me. I didn't even know that I could end the thing. I thought you had control over it.
No, I didn't do anything. It just
No,
stopped.
I did it. What I'm saying is I didn't even know that I could do this.
Thanks, Michael, for hanging out. we're just having fun over here, just screwing things up. It happens.
Oh gosh. Let me see.
So, can you hear me okay while you're messing with your stuff, Rafi?
The thing is, my thing locked here. I can't even see anybody. Can you see me?
Unfortunately, we can see you.
Let me just like leave the phone like this. I think I know why my phone was crackling. Was too close to the computer, so it was giving like static.
Getting some feedback.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the reality of selling a snake, something that not very many people want. In my opinion, it's probably one of the harder things out there to sell.
So basically, if you don't, one, you have to put yourself out there. And well, first, when you one of the plannings for breeding, you to have an outlet for these animals, right? So it's not because you have an animal for sale that people are going to buy. You can invest $500,000 and not being able to sell any animals.
Right.
So networking is very important. So people know you and know the projects that you're working on. Second, you have to take good pictures. You have to put like really nice ads of the animals, put all the information that you have in there for those animals that you're selling, make sure it's correct. Another thing is, if you're not a salesman, maybe you have to find someone that's going to sell them for you. Maybe found a wholesaler, or which is not a sustainable. But if you just like want to breed for as a hobby, and just like, okay, you bred those animals and you have the hatchlings, you had fun, and then you just want to move on to next year. So, but if you don't have a sales strategy, we have Morph Market, we have Reptile Ads, which is an amazing platform and one of our sponsors. Thank you, Zach. You have to put your animals in there and make sure that everything is updated, that the weight is updated. You have to do at least once a month or every 2 months. You have to update the weights so people are aware that those animals are not a 1 year old and 100 grams.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have to be on social media. If you don't like social media, it's going to be very hard on you. I have a hard time with social media just because of time, but I try my best to be on YouTube and show the clutches that I have. I like to inform people. So you have to interact with people. You have to answer questions. If you don't like to talk to people, it's going to be hard on you too. Be patient. I like to help you. Usually, I like to help people that are starting because those are the ones that need help the most. And people are gonna be thankful, and they're gonna be probably return customers. And if they're not, you helped someone. So do the right thing. Be out there. Don't think that your animals are gonna sell by themselves. Doesn't matter how good is your animal. If somebody has an Exantic DG Clown acid, and Justin has one. Who do you think they're gonna buy from? They're not gonna buy from you because they don't know who you are, right? So you have to make yourself known. And if you're not known online, you have to be known physically. Go to shows, talk to people, create a brand. Um, I started developing my logo even before I was breeding snakes, and people make fun of that. I think that's stupid. Like, you have to make yourself known. A lot of people are much more known than I am, and they don't even sell snakes. Like, they just created their brand and they want to show their pets and their passion, and do whatever you can, but make sure that you have a home for those animals. And that's why I tell people to start slow, get a feeling, see if you can sell animals, because even if you are a good seller, maybe you're not going to be a good snake seller. You have to understand the morphs, get and people laugh, but he's back, Chris Hardwick. He has a lot of videos. If you never known anything about morphs and you don't understand, he explained how the gene stacks a lot, and that's a lot of old genes. But most of the genes that people are working with are old genes. They're just having different combinations.
Right.
So start somewhere. Know your animals, because if you start putting wrong information, you don't know what a hat is, what a krypton is, for example, it's going to be hard on you because you're going to be posting wrong things and people are going to notice that.
Yeah.
I make
No,
mistakes. For
credibility is
example,
a big deal.
you start copying and pasting ads just because they're from the same clutch, for example. And what happens is, sometimes you're going to make a mistake. You're going to forget to take one gene off, and or you're going to add an extra gene because it was already on the previous animal. So be aware that mistakes can be you can make mistakes, but you just have to
Right.
fix it. It just happened to me yesterday. I had all my animals posted if they were born into 2015 instead of 2025, but that was a typo. And since I duplicated the ad, all of the animals were showing as if they were born in 2015. So
Right.
just pay attention and learn your animals, basically.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. So for me, I started when I got into this, obviously the first thing that I needed to get nailed down was husbandry, because without good husbandry, I mean, that's the basics, right? You don't have anything else. You can't sell a snake that you can't breed. You can't breed a snake that you can't take care of. So it really starts there. And, and I started with I got a couple of affordable proven breeders, and that's what's given me clutches so far. And then I bought higher end snakes slowly when I got
Now I can see you.
now you can see me. Got higher end snakes that some of them are going to be ready this year, and it took me a while to figure out what projects I wanted to work on. Early on I knew that, like some of the incomplete dominants like leopard and confusion, which are pretty common, but I'd say in general they're well liked, and people don't don't devalue snakes because of those. They're pretty adaptable. But I couldn't really nail down a good recessive that I wanted to work with. So that took a while. But I did, Orange Dream, Red Stripe, Yellow Belly, Leopard, Confusion, that set, together, I think is just on their own is really sharp. And when I finally realized, that I wanted to get that into Tri-Stripe, then I was finally set, but it took me a good year and some change to figure out exactly where I wanted to go. But, I bought snakes knowing at least part of the base. And I didn't go out and buy 100 snakes, in the first couple of years. I mean, I think I've got 40-ish ball pythons, but I diversified pretty quickly, and that was one thing there's two parts to that. The first was I saw the market saturation, and that really hit home when I went to Tinley in March of last year and saw 80% of that show was ball pythons. And it wasn't just 10 or 15 ball pythons on the table. It was like tables of ball pythons. And I knew, all right, I was a very, very little fish swimming in a big pond. And so, every single one of those snakes is essentially, it's a snake that I'm not selling, somebody else is selling. So I needed to differentiate. One of the ways I could do that is create a brand and create, an entertaining channel and things like that. But I mean, let's face it, as hard as I try to be outgoing, it is very difficult for me to be outgoing and to do that kind of thing. Some people, it just comes really, really naturally. So while I still, intend to do that, and here I'm on a podcast and trying to be funny and stuff, I need to differentiate in other areas. And so I went into a couple different species that have different business models. Basically, they don't have morphs, and on their own, they're, rarer species in the hobby. And so I bought, I went into the Angolans, which they're not super popular, but your average Angolan is between, $600 and $1,000, depending on the age and the sex. Thanks for stopping by House of Serpents. And then I did some price stratification, above and beyond that. Got into the Sanzinia, which is, a boa, the Madagascar tree boas, because those are a higher price. They're, I'd say they're gaining in popularity somewhat, but they're still very niche. But by the way, all the snakes that I got into them because I really like them. That's the first and foremost thing, right? If husbandry is your foundation for the business, liking the species that you're going to work with, that's the foundation for, just being a keeper.
Yeah, a good example. A good example of that is a lot of ball python breeders went into hognose because they thought that the market was saturated, but they didn't really know anything about hog. I'm not saying all breeders, but a lot of breeders went into hognoses. I don't like working with hognose. I never worked with hognose, but that's not something that I would like to work with. And so I love ball pythons, and that's why I work with them. And I love emerald tree boas and boas, boa constrictors. So I want to still be working with ball pythons no matter what, unless something happens. But I love when people want diversification and they have the means as far as time and effort. I think it's great. Just like Sanzinias, like I think they're beautiful, but I would have to have a whole different setup and having closures because I don't like to have boas. Oh, the pleasure was mine. And I'm sorry if I didn't have time like to talk a lot. I tried to talk as much as I can with people, but it was a really nice pleasure to meet you too. I met a lot of nice people in there.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by and leaving us a comment.
Yeah, that's great. But as far as boas, I like to have them in enclosures. Some people have them in racks. I just think that they do better in enclosures if possible. So one day I'm gonna have more diversification because I like it, not because I have to of the market or. But that's a good point. Like if you have if a species if you're thinking about sustainability again, if a species is not doing as well, if you have other species, it's probably going to help. And we're talking about snakes here, but that entails every species and not only reptiles. If you go into birds, into dogs, everything is the same.
Right.
Of course, you're probably not going to be able to have your own dog food if you're talking about industrialized food, but you can always make your own food. But
Yeah.
you have to have a business plan for any kind of animal business.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. If you want to have geckos, like, is your room good enough temperature wise? Is it too hot? Because they don't get very good. So if your room is 80 degrees, you're probably not going to have a very good hatching rate, because they're probably on the 70s when it comes to hatching a gecko. So that's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, for my sustainability, I knew from my previous experience, owning the surveillance company, was I didn't want to spend all my time running cable. And what that equates to is I don't want to spend all my time taking care of rodents and cleaning tubs. So I wanted a smaller number of snakes that I could keep and not have to constantly turn over my collection, right? To stay relevant, in the business, or to keep my project moving forward. So I went into different species that don't have morphs, and that are more rare in the hobby. Like I have the dwarf Burmese pythons, the Sanzinia, the Angolans, and they're very different communities, very different, strategies. They're snakes that take longer to grow up. They don't have the morphs, so there's not that turnover. And so if the ball python, market is saturated, then I produce fewer ball pythons, focus more on some of the other species. And then,
makes
that gives
totally
me,
sense.
yeah, and it gives me some flexibility, right? So if the ball python market starts to pick up, and because right now we've got a lot of producers and not a lot of consumers, relatively speaking. So prices are low and we have auctions everywhere.
I
So
agree.
to me, don't make that many ball pythons, focus on the other species. So I looked at that.
Even if you go back to ball pythons, there's a lot of different stuff that you can do. For example, start building, start having, because a lot of people start and they see all the triple and quad recessives, and it's very hard to produce triple and quad visual animals. Like it needs a lot, unless you have money to buy visuals. It's a lot of rack space, and that's a lot of mishits that you're gonna get. So
Right.
what you can do, build a strong foundation. For example, you're doing tri-stripe, and then you hit your OD, acid, blade, or leopard tri-stripe. It's like an amazing animal. What you can do is you layer the monarch on it, and then you have a monarch version of that. And that by itself is going to take a long time, because you're going to create double hats. And then you have to put those double hats together, because probably not a lot of people are going to have a tri-stripe monarch so you can buy a male and then put back to your females.
Right.
So
yeah, it's going to take a while to do that.
A good foundation on one recessive is really good. And if you have, maybe you have a tri-stripe that is head clown, just like Trav has, you can shed test, and then you can advance like a little bit faster. But don't try to follow trends, because just like I said, puzzle is one that people are getting heavy into it. It's an amazing animal, but eventually puzzle is going to have the same fate as clown. So they're going to come down in price really hard, because production versus demand. So if you have a lot available, the demand is not going to be as high, prices are going to drop. I will never stop breeding clowns, because to me there's no other recessive that gives the visual that clowns gives, meaning the disruption of pattern. And when you stack in complete dominance, like I never seen any other. I haven't seen a Krypton, I haven't seen a puzzle, and I've seen some crazy stuff, but clown, the problem that we have with clown is that some combinations will brown out. So what you do is, again, you work the the visual recessives that improves color, DG, Ultramel, Monarch, and then I don't like lavender so much just because the color sometimes, like if you don't have like jeans that are really bright that is going to make them orange, it's kind of hard to see what I'm talking about. But if you like lavender, why not? It's just do what you like, basically.
Yeah.
Even if you like albino, I mean, if that's your thing, do albino, do candinos. So
Yeah, no, I would agree. I definitely would agree with that. So to wrap things up, before we wrap things up, actually, there's one other thing I want to touch on. Reptile Ads, one of our sponsors, is actually coming out with an application for the iPhone and the Android, and they're beta testing it now. And I would have to say I'm on the beta test group or whatever it is. You know, I'm running it through its the course here, and I will tell you that app is fantastic. And I encourage anybody and everybody to utilize Reptile Ads in addition to or as their sole. I would say in addition to, because you want to have multiple avenues of advertising. But it's pretty awesome. And I give a lot of kudos to Zach and whoever the development team is that's putting that together, because that app is fast and is very sharp. And I was super, super impressed. So anybody that's interested, if you just want to buy snakes, check out Reptile Ads. It's going to be hot. It's pretty sharp. So.
And to be honest, I love Mark's Market. I'm not going to lie. Has been on for a long time, but their app sometimes is very sluggish and glitchy, and it gets stuck, and then you have to get out of the app and come back. Even when you have like, sometimes you have inquiries, you open the inquiries, and then the alert that you get, like the little numbers of how many inquiries you get, it doesn't disappear until like later, and then you think you have like people talking to you. And so there's a lot of glitches in there that Zach is probably not going to have because they're working hard. So it's the app for Reptile Ads right now is really snappy, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I went through it as fast as I could, and it didn't skip a beat. It was pretty on top of things. So I was super impressed with it. It's really, really nice. So yeah. So anyway,
only one thing that I haven't touched that I forgot. It doesn't matter. Let's say that you haven't, you already started your journey, right? And you realize that you have a lot of animals that you bought and that you spend money on, and they don't make any sense for where your mind is now. You can always retool it. Doesn't matter how far you are. It doesn't matter if you have 100 animals. If you look at them and you say, these animals do not fit my projects now, just sell those animals, find them a home. Sometimes you have to give the animals away. I've done it. And retool it. Think through like what's your goal, what do I want to accomplish, and just go and buy the animals that make sense. Sometimes you have to sell 10 animals to buy one, and that's okay. You're gonna lose money. I've lost money, but in the end you're gonna gain, because don't think of the sunken costs. It's part of doing business, and that happens to any business. Sometimes you have to go into another direction. And that's okay. Don't feel bad that you lost the money, because if you keep doing it, you're going to lose more money. So just try to stop right there and rethink everything that you want to do. A lot of the animals, you're going to be able to use it if you want to create hats. I bought in the past, I bought a acid, is it an acid hurricane fountain, and then it didn't have any hats and no recessive. And I was thinking, man, that's a male. Like, what am I gonna do with this male? Like, and he's beautiful. And then I said, well, guess what? I'm gonna breed it to a clown. I'm gonna make some hats. So after that, I'm probably gonna sell him. And I paid good money on when I bought him. So
yeah, No, it's a good point too. You know, the sunken costs are, they're sunken costs. And so you can either belabor that and try to recoup every penny and spend money trying to recoup money and time trying to recoup every penny, or you can get something back that's, you know, still at least usable to some extent in terms of finances. So, all right, well, we are a little over an hour. We did pretty good, even though we had some some technical glitches. It's okay. It's only the third show. So, Ralph, you got any closing remarks?
No, I think that's it. You guys can reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Morph Market, or you can, usually YouTube. It's unfortunate, but YouTube doesn't have any feature that you can reach out to the creator. So if you want to reach out to me on Instagram or Morph Market, and if you have any questions, I can help you out. I'm just another voice that can help you. You can reach out to many people and get a little different perspective from different people, and just make your own. That's what I do on every aspect of my life. You just don't go, oh, Doc says, like, Doc is just has his opinions. So you have to talk to many different people and then find your own path.
Yeah, same here. Anybody can reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I am on TikTok, but that's just an auto repopulator, whatever you want to call it, or auto post. So I don't really check that one. But anyway, Instagram and Facebook, you can find me there. All right. Well, that being said, that's a wrap for episode number 3. Thanks to everybody that came by. Thanks, Doc, for sharing some insight on breeding sustainability. And until next time,
Rob.
we'll see you.
Thank you, guys.